at the National Association. And then you'll hear from both myself and the CEO of Stefanik about what we have been working on at DAR. Before I introduce our special guest, I do want to thank our keynote sponsor, Prospect Inspection Services, for their support of this event and the 2021 DAR conference. Thank you. With that, I'm very happy to introduce Charlie Opler, a realtor from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and the 2021 president of the National Association of Realtors. He has been a realtor since 1981 and is the CEO of Prominent Properties Sotheby's International Realty, with 15 offices in Northern and Central New Jersey. At the local level, Charlie served as a president of the New Jersey Association of Realtors in 2004. He is a member of the Greater Bergen Board of Realtors, served as a president in 1996, and was named Realtor of the Year in 1997. Charlie has served on NAR's board of directors numerous times, beginning in 2003. He has chaired the Realtor Party Coordinating Committee and the RPAC Trustee Committees, and served on 4 of NAR's presidential advisory groups. In 2005, he was NAR's vice president for Region 2, including New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And in 2015, he was NAR vice president for Chris Polycron. Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks, Mia. It's nice to be here, and thank you and Wes for having me today. Certainly, it's a different year, and good afternoon to everybody out in virtual land. I hope you're comfortable. Maybe you're more relaxed than the three of us sitting on your couch. And I know it might be a little early to celebrate happy hour, but we're going to try and cover a few things for you. Needless to say, during this pandemic, we've adjusted. Everybody likes to use the word pivot. To me, it's really been just an adjustment. We've learned how to do business differently. We've learned how to interact differently. And yet we've used tools that have been available to us for the longest time. We could have had virtual conferences 5-10 years ago. We just didn't have to. You could have marketed properties online a lot better 5-10 years ago, but we all learned how to do some of those things. So I'm grateful to all of you for your resiliency and everything that you've done, both for the association in Delaware as well as the National Association of Realtors. And I'm going to highlight a few things that we've done. But when I say we, it's not NAR, it's all of us. There's members from every state that serve on the board of directors, that serve on committees, and that really participate. So it's not us and they. When I look at NAR, I look at 1,500,000 members, but more importantly, I look at those that contribute on the day in and day out efforts for all of us. So a couple of things that are going on. Right now, we're in the midst of presenting the governance PAG, which is a 3-year presidential advisory group that talks about how we look at the structure of NAR. And when you think about it, we've had the same structure since 1940. I don't know about any of you, but have you run your company the same way as 1940? Now, I've been in the business 40 years, but it hasn't been since 1940. So we know a lot of things have changed. We're trying to make the adjustments that would make NAR more efficient, more nimble, with more representation. So we're looking at establishing qualifications and performance expectations for appointed leadership at all positions. We're looking at the relevance of the delegate body. For 4 of the last 5 years, the meeting's been canceled because there's been no activities. So is there a need for the delegate body, or should it just be the board of directors and the executive committee that oversees the organization? So we want to certainly look at that. If you want to know more about the PAG, if you go to govpag.realtor, you will see everything there in the report and some of the thoughts. And I think the most important thing is we're looking at it to improve the efficiency of NAR. And we used to just meet twice a year in person. Now we're meeting 4 and 6 times a year because we can do it virtually. Our leadership team meets every 2 or 3 weeks, either for an hour, for 2 or 3 hours, or for a half hour, just so that we keep moving forward on all the issues that are out there. Let's talk about advocacy, because when you think about NAR, to me, it's all about how we're perceived by Congress, both in the House and the Senate, because when you look at the economy, 18% roughly of the GDP is real estate related, whether it's the sale of a house, financing, home improvements, outdoor maintenance, roof, furniture, insurance, you name it, it's housing related. So when we talk to Congress, and I actually have to go tomorrow to DC to have a discussion with the White House, it's about things that are important to all of us so that we can continue to do business. We talk about 18 months ago, and we were able to declare the real estate industry as essential. Now, it wasn't that in every state because the states still had the final say, and I know Delaware had some difficulties, in Pennsylvania and a number of other states, New York as well. But we were able to make progress to at least get that started. When you think about the first CARES package, we had unemployment benefits for an independent contractor. That's unprecedented. And that's because we have a great lobbying team to say that the members of Congress, we need help too. You know, we didn't know what this business was going to look like for the next 90 days. If I asked everybody honestly if they thought they could sell a house last year or a property, you would have all been nervous as heck in March, April, May, and June. Nobody expected the last 6 months of the year to look anything like it did. And I think a lot of that was just people trying to figure out what their future looked like during the pandemic. And they bought property because they needed a place to have to go. And certainly you benefited from people leaving more densely populated areas, just like we did in New Jersey. We saw people from New York come to New Jersey. We saw people from New Jersey go to Delaware. And you all know that sell real estate there. You've got a lot of New Jersey people that live in Delaware because it was close. But it was more spaced out. It was more comfortable for many people. So we're working with Congress on many issues right now. We're working to see where the infrastructure bill is going to land. It's proposed at $3.5 trillion. We know that's not going to be the final number, but certainly it's going to be substantial. We need to increase broadband access, both in rural and major cities that are struggling. And we need also to look at the roads and bridges and tunnels in this country because they're in desperate need. But we also want to make sure that there's a component for housing in the infrastructure package because we need that addressed both from an affordability standpoint and an accessibility standpoint. We're very pleased that the proposals did not include, and I'll say that again, did not include a repeal or limit of the 1031 like-kind exchange. It did not include taxation of unrealized capital gains upon death or gift. And it did not include the repeal of the step-up basis. These were our three biggest issues. We still have a long fight ahead of us, but right now we feel pretty good about where we are. Inventory shortage, another thing we're addressing with Congress for a couple of things. Number one, having some help to look at turning unused commercial space into residential housing. That would address shortages in inventory, but we need to make sure that the towns have some kind of tax credit so that government in all of these communities speed up the zoning process. That would be the biggest detriment and obstacle that every builder or developer has to overcome, the process. And if we can help streamline that with incentives, we're going to look to do that. Because we all know at the end of the day, owning real estate is how you build your generational wealth. It always has, always will. Dr. Lawrence Yun last week at a presentation said he thought the average net worth from all his data for an individual who owned property was about $295,000. The average net worth of a tenant who didn't own property was about $12,000. Certainly substantial. And we also know that we've got to work with our organizations like NAREP and NAREB and ARIA to increase home ownership in the minority marketplaces, to reduce the racial wealth gap, and most importantly, to help first-time home buyers and to end discrimination in housing. That's certainly a big thing along the lines. And all of these packages, whether it's the CARES Act or the Infrastructure Act or the Rescue Bill, is to keep the economy moving in this pandemic state that we're still in. 18 months later, it's still affecting a very big part of our economy, certainly in the hotels and the restaurants and the tourism industries that so many states rely on as well. For all of you that know the Second Century Ventures group that we're involved with, companies like Matterport, Box Brownie, our Second Century Ventures companies through our REACH program. I just wanted to let you know that over 600,000 of our members used the products in the last year and saved over $60 million by using these products that helped us drive prices down. So we're going to continue to look at technology that we can support to help all of us in business. Two other things, and then I'll open it up to questions. The emphasis this year for our leadership team was twofold. It was the 20th anniversary of the Realtor Relief Foundation. We wanted to educate as many members as possible about the history of the foundation. And you can go to nar.realtor / one of the two, Realtor Relief Foundation, and learn more about it. But it started on 9/11 in 2001. We raised $8 million in 3 months and helped 4,000 families. Well, over the life of 20 years, we've raised close to $33 million and helped almost 17,000 families. And in the last 2 years, we've helped fund 25 disasters, including hurricanes, flooding, fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, and just recently, Hurricane Ida that hit Louisiana, Mississippi, did as much damage in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island with the flooding. In New Jersey alone, we had 27 deaths from Ida. So we're helping all those families, and we've issued checks to help some of these families. We've raised $7.5 million so far in 2021 with a goal of $8.5 million. And I would just also thank the Delaware Realtors for your contribution. And it means a lot to me because this is my backyard. I know 9/11 means everything to everybody. I think when you look across the river from 3 of your offices and see where the Twin Towers was, it would have an impact on you that is hard to imagine. We all have our stories, but when you're in the metropolitan area, 9/11 means something different. And I know Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania obviously have their memories of the horrific days. But for this year, it was really important for me that we did something to raise money there. And then also we've started a minority emphasis on teaching real estate to underserved communities. So if you go to nar.realtor, NAR Spire, SPIRE, it's a mentorship program, very similar video to Fairhaven, Implicit Bias, and the At Home with Diversity certification series that we worked with. Well, the same NAR Spire talks about generational wealth and all the different disciplines in real estate. And we have over 100 mentors and almost 100 mentees across the country youth that want to learn about our business at a young age. And we're really excited about it. Mark Gould and his staff at NAR have done just a phenomenal job. So I would tell all of you to go to that site and you'll learn a lot more. And then last, most important, the annual conference in San Diego, November 12th to the 15th is a go. It's a go in person. That Friday night, instead of a celebrity concert on Sunday night, we've rented out Petco Park, which is the home of the San Diego Padres, whose season is already over. So we'll have no problem using their field. Every member is invited. There's food, there's drink, there's cover bands, and it's a night outside to kind of connect with everybody since we know how difficult this year has been. So with that, Mia and Wes, we'll turn it back over to you for questions that anybody might have.
Thank you, Charlie, for all the. I've got several questions. Actually, you already answered it regarding the what's NAR tackling next, and then what we're doing and what type of a threat and challenges that we're facing as our industry. You've already addressed it, so thank you for that. So, has anything come up that you didn't expect as an NAR president?
Yeah, a bunch of things. Number one, I never expected that I would speak at over 250 associations because it's virtual. One day I was laughing that I think I was in Asia, Mexico, Colombia, and like Kansas within about 3 hours. Those kind of things. But it's great because I've been able to reach more people and have conversations and participate where I may not have been able to do that. Also, I think the Department of Justice reneging on a deal that they made, and to think that our business is not pro-consumer and pro-competitive, really to me just means they don't understand the way our business works. As long as we're pro-consumer, pro-competitiveness, I think the industry and the way the MLS works gives everybody a fair opportunity to buy and sell real estate if you're a consumer. And some of the suggestions that they made certainly were that we agreed to made sense. Mm-hmm. You know, not advertising buyer agency services for free because they're not. You know, and as my parents taught me, nothing's ever free. So, you know, why would we be able to do that? Talk about buyers brokerage and things of that nature. Certainly, we want to make sure that that disclosure takes place and the consumer understands the difference. But at the end of the day, the system we have works. If you look at some other places around the world, and somebody told me about an example where there was a property in Europe, and I won't mention the country, that had 7 real estate signs on the front lawn, 7 different prices, and nothing was illegal or wrong about it. And you tell me how that represents the best interests of the buyer and or seller. You know, why should I pay more because I bought it from Mia versus buying it from Charlie or buying it from Wesley or buying it from anybody? You know, there should be some uniformity in the way we act that benefits the consumer. It shouldn't be just a free-for-all. And the other part with the Department of Justice is we reached an agreement after 2 years with the head of the antitrust division that has the authority to reach that agreement. It's not just the real estate industry. Anybody that has something with the Department of Justice should be able to trust them, honor their word, and expect the written confirmation of what you've agreed to. It shouldn't take 7 months and then you're given basically 24 hours to say, here's the new terms. Do you accept them or not? And we said no and said, we accept what we agreed to and let's move forward. So we've made motions to quash the CID and to move forward. So that's where we are, and that was unexpected. But everything else, it's just a matter of being in so many places at one time, and and unexpected to keep as busy as we did all year, in continuation of last year.
We appreciate you. So my last question will be, in conjunction with all the NAR is representing all of us members for the One Voice. So what should our member be interested in? What's happening at NAR, as well as the what is the value added to the average member?
Oh boy, I could talk for hours, but I know we don't have that time. First and foremost, I would say the advocacy. When you represent the amount of people that we do, one example which I touched on earlier is unemployment benefits for an independent contractor is unprecedented. That's because of the respect we have in Washington, D.C. But more importantly, when you belong to the National Association of Realtors, you look at the three-way agreement, which is state, national, and local, and the support that all three need from each other so that it allows you to do business as seamlessly as you can. That to me is a huge benefit. If you look at RPR, member benefit, last month we passed 1 million users. I would challenge everybody on this Zoom to try RPR and see the information that you get. The consumers are wowed by that, just as a member benefit. Look at the right tools right now. Anybody last year could have taken advantage of designations, education seminars, or just swag and stuff and anything else for, thank God I have enough young kids that I know those words, at cost or no cost. And it helps you do your business because you have other people to work with. And then I think the most important thing to me is the camaraderie of working with people in your business. That what happens in Delaware, we see in New Jersey, or you see in Pennsylvania, that allows you as leadership to collaborate to make sure you're doing what you can for your membership and the consumer. Because it's not just one side. Everything we have to do is consumer-based, because without them, we don't exist. So I think the one thing that keeps coming back to me is the advocacy and the collaboration, and then all the tools that you have that if you took advantage of them would be more than offset what your dues are. And then last is this public relations consumer advertising campaign has lifted us in the eyes of the consumer about what a realtor is. That's who we are. And we are that group of people that's trusted to do real estate transactions more than anybody else in the world. So those would be just a couple.
Thank you so much for all the wealth of knowledge and what NAR is doing and what you are doing for all of us members, each members in our industry. And I really appreciate your time that you really, I understand you have to go all over the place, but we appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Mia. Thanks, Wesley, for having me. And I think the one thing that our leadership team this year has mostly practitioners, our liaisons, our vice presidents, and our leadership team. So everything I do, it's the same as you. I've got messages while we're talking from a manager and an agent. What can we do better? So those are the kind of things. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope to see you all in San Diego.
Absolutely. See you soon then. Thank you so much, Charlie. Take care.
Take care.
Now to our DAR update. I hope you have been enjoying the conference so far and have found some value in taking the time to participate. While it remains somewhat difficult for us all to be together, we have all found ways to connect, to carry our voice forward, and to continue to protect the rights of all property owners and help those who seek fair and affordable housing. While this year continues to be a difficult period for our industry, our communities, and our people, your efforts to provide safe and ethical service have helped thousands of consumers fulfill their housing needs, from short-term rentals to commercial or residential real estate transactions. Congratulations on a job well done. I'm confident that your good work will continue as we move forward. That said, it has been a very busy year with many firsts for our association. Our efforts to maintain a diverse and inclusive culture took on new meaning with creation of a new work group. As a result, a new monthly communication to all members is devoted specifically to information that will boost our knowledge and deliver resources. A digital public campaign was launched this spring to make homeowners aware of language in their deeds that may be discriminatory. New partnerships were formed, including the Realtors Association of Delaware and the LGBTQ Real Estate Alliance of Delaware. Now, the group is working to have Delaware Real Estate Commission revamp Education Module 1 to allow fair housing to take on more prominence. Our Forms Committee, after taking on adjustments needed last year to accommodate pandemic restrictions, again went through our forms to ensure they were up to date, meeting the needs of our current environment. In public policy, while we did not achieve our goal with the transfer tax, we strengthened our partnership in the legislature and increased their awareness of its current impact on consumers and the state economy. We are already planning our strategy for the 2022 legislative session, and we'll be reaching out to you to become involved so we no longer have the nation's highest state realty transfer tax. In concert with the NAR's anniversary celebration of the Realtors Relief Foundation, we're establishing a statewide foundation to support realtors in times of extreme need and our communities when disasters occur. All of these initiatives were achieved by a cadre of committee's members who were dedicated to their task and committed to meeting the needs of association members. Moving ahead, we have more projects on the table we hope to bring to life, and we will need everyone on board to accomplish them. That includes successfully achieving lowering of the statewide realty transfer tax by 1%, back to where it was before the 2017 budget shortfall. We've already started planning our strategy, and I encourage everyone to become involved. And please respond to our calls for action. Apply to become a state political coordinator. Help us to engage with the legislators in that matter. And most of all, let your voice be heard. As we move through the week, we hope you'll take advantage of some of the opportunities that have been planned to help you develop both personally and professionally. We feel fortunate to be able to continue to offer this conference free of charge to all DAR members. I encourage you to visit our vendors and sponsors who are participating in the virtual expo. Their support is critical to not only the success of the conference, but to our work throughout the year. Thank you again for attending. Now I'll turn it over to Wes Stefanik, DAR's Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Mia. As Mia said, I'm Wes Stefanik, Chief Executive Officer of the Delaware Association of Realtors. Over the last year and a half that I have been honored to be the CEO, my mission has been to improve DAR processes, to provide a greater number of services, benefits, and relevant communications, and to make sure that DAR truly is the primary voice of the real estate industry in Delaware. Over the past 18 months, I believe our organization has increased both the quality and quantity of offerings for our members, even during the pandemic. And I believe we have emerged as a stronger association, with stronger member support, and a stronger voice across the state. But we can't stop now. As Mia said, we need your help to ensure that we continue this growth. If you're interested in becoming more involved in the state association, always feel free to reach out and we can talk about how you might be able to get more involved. I want to take just a moment to thank the DAR 2021 Board of Directors, as well as President Mia Birch in particular. Through her steady leadership, the Board of Directors and her have continued to make sure that DAR is serving all of you, our members. So what is DAR doing for you? And what do your dues dollars support? Well, we kind of narrow our focus down to three functional areas, that being advocacy, consumer outreach, and education. Advocacy, as Charlie had just mentioned, is one of our most important functions. We interact with the legislature and state administrative departments daily to make sure that government policies are working for you and for property owners, buyers, and sellers. We have an extremely active public policy committee, and our political action committee, our PAC, is stronger than ever. Consumer outreach is an area that we have tried to expand on this year. The real estate market is a critical driver of this state's economy, and we must get our story out to the public. This year, we have used a variety of media to encourage the public to reach out to a realtor. That's what our billboards say, reach out to a realtor. And we want to drive home the value that realtors bring to the process of buying and selling real property. We also expanded our social media profiles, adding Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn to our already Facebook presence that we had. In mentioning the billboards, I hope everybody was able to see one of them sometime throughout their travel in the state. There's quite a few of them out there. We completed a rebranding of our association over the last year, resulting in a fresh, updated look and attitude that goes beyond a new logo and website to reflect in all that we do. I'm very proud of the team effort, and I hope that everyone enjoys the new DAR look. In service to our communities, DAR has been both partners and sponsors. For example, we sponsored the IREM Tri-State Conference, which is specifically for those in property management. We supported the State Chamber Small Business Day, numerous legislative breakfasts, Home Ownership Month celebrations, the Millennial Summit, the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition Monster Mile, and a whole long list of many other nonprofits that we are more than proud to support. And lastly, education. We increased our general education sessions, mainly through our hot topic hours, our hot topic sessions. We included also more options for all of you to obtain NAR designations and certifications, as well as made this convention possible, even during this pandemic time, through a virtual platform. I'm very proud that DAR is also very active with our national association. We have representation at almost every event and members on all committees that require a state representative, and even more than just the minimum. We have members active in pretty many NAR committees. This is all just really a snapshot of what DAR does and works to accomplish every day. We could be here for quite a while, but please always feel free to reach out to us here at DAR, and we can talk to you about more about what your membership gets you. With that, I hope this week's classes, the keynotes, and the workshops deliver added value to all of you. Just a few reminders before we close out today's session. The Delaware Realtors 302 event is going to be on Thursday at 4:15 at Maple Dale Country Club. We're repeating this because we want to make sure everyone's well aware. Keep in mind that the event starts at 4:15. That's actually when the speeches begin. So if you want to arrive a little earlier, please do so. We'll be inducting the first members of the Delaware RPAC Hall of Fame, recognizing the good works of our local association, Good Neighbors, and announcing the Realtor of the Year. We will also be having a forum where candidates for the office of President-elect for 2022 will be answering a few questions before their election the next day on Friday. That's going to be followed by our President's Reception, which is sponsored by Bright MLS, the Newcastle County Board of Realtors, and Geico. If you'd like to attend this event, it's definitely not too late. All you have to do is simply send an email to info@delawarerealtor.com. Please do that by tomorrow so that we can get you on the list. On Friday, we will be starting the day out with our Framing Frenzy event with Habitat for Humanity. We're very excited. We have maxed out on capacity. It's going to be a great day. We're going to be building 2 levels of a house. And I understand now it's actually might be 2 different houses that we're building. That event is sponsored by Copeland Taylor LLC. A big thanks goes out to them for the support. We will conclude Convention Week with our DAR annual meeting on Friday at 2:30. Please check out your emails that we've been sending out with the link to register for the Zoom meeting. It's going to start at 2:30. It's going to be very brief, but you have to be on at 2:30 and registered ahead of time to be able to come in and vote during that session. It's vitally important for you to be able to vote. And it's also vitally important that everyone's there so that you elect your future leadership of this association. With that, thank you everyone for joining us here today. I hope the sessions have been going well. Definitely make sure you tune into the workshops on Thursday. There's 4 different ones, so there's plenty of options to choose from. Thank you, President Mia. Thank you, President Charlie, who's no longer with us. But thank you all. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you, Wes. See you all soon.